I never thought I'd be the kind of man who checked timestamps on messages, or noticed the tiny shift in perfume brands, or started memorizing the days of the week by her yoga schedule. But when you've been burned before, and I had, badly, something inside you stays on high alert, even if you're smiling and pretending to be the guy who doesn't worry. Melissa had been going to yoga every Tuesday and Thursday night for the past 7 months. Same time, same studio, one of those upscale places downtown with minimalist lighting, eucalyptus towels, and instructors who spoke like they were reading poetry underwater. I dropped her off once or twice early on. She was always quick to kiss me goodbye, yoga mat in one hand, stainless steel water bottle in the other, earbuds in, ponytail bouncing behind her. Confident, radiant, even. I like that about her. We met at a charity mixer, one of those young professionals for a cause events where everyone drinks overpriced wine and pretends to care about global literacy. She was different, though. She made fun of the hors d'oeuvres, called the DJ a Spotify intern with a god complex. I laughed more in 10 minutes than I had in months. I didn't fall all at once. It was slower than that, like rain soaking through canvas. You don't notice it at first, but by the time you do, everything's heavy. For the first year, she was sunlight. Funny, affectionate, endlessly curious. She asked questions and actually listened to the answers. We had inside jokes, road trip playlists, and a shared list of diners to visit in every state. I told my friends I thought she might be it. The one. But somewhere between month 15 and 16, the light started to shift. It was subtle at first. Fewer good morning texts. More silence during dinner. A glance at her phone that lasted too long. A smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. I asked her once, gently, if something was wrong. She just shook her head and leaned into me, whispering, "You overthink too much. Maybe try yoga with me sometime. You need to stretch." She said it with a wink, like it was all a joke. And maybe it was. But the way her eyes darted to her phone right after, that stayed with me. So I didn't say anything more. I didn't want to be the jealous boyfriend. I didn't want to be my worst self again. But I watched. Quietly. It was a Tuesday night when everything cracked. She left for yoga at 6:12 p.m., same as always. Kissed me on the cheek, told me not to wait up, she might grab a smoothie with the girls afterward. I smiled and told her to have fun, even waved from the porch. But at 6:58 p.m., my phone buzzed. It was a text from someone I didn't recognize. Name saved as Aaron Yoga, Flow State Studio. "Hey, is Melissa okay? Just checking in, she didn't show up tonight." Been a few sessions now. I stared at the screen, rereading it 3 times. My mouth went dry. I didn't respond right away. I just sat there, phone in hand, like the wind had been knocked out of me. Then, slowly, I typed, "Thanks for checking." She said she was on her way. Maybe something came up. It was diplomatic. Measured. The kind of text someone calm would send. But I wasn't calm. I was unraveling. A few sessions now. That's what he said. Not just tonight. Not a fluke. Not a flat tire or a missed Uber. It meant she'd been saying she was at yoga for multiple nights in a row and hadn't been. I didn't know what to do with that. I walked to the kitchen, poured a glass of water I didn't drink. My reflection in the window looked smaller, like something inside me had folded in half. I wanted to believe there was an explanation. A good one. Maybe she signed up for a different class. Maybe she forgot to cancel. Maybe she was taking a break and didn't want to tell me because she knew how much I admired her discipline. Maybe. But then, at 8:41 p.m., she came home, hair slightly damp, yoga mat slung over her shoulder. She smiled like nothing was wrong. "Traffic was insane," she said, tossing her keys into the bowl by the door. I was tempted to skip, but I pushed through. "Aren't you proud of me?" And there it was. The lie. I didn't confront her. Not right away. I just said, "Proud, yeah," and hugged her, careful to breathe in. She smelled like jasmine and soap, but not like sweat. Not like someone who'd been flowing through downward dogs for 90 minutes. She didn't notice me notice. She never does. Not until it's too late. That night, while she showered, I pulled up her calendar on the shared laptop. She used to sync it for reminders. I checked the recurring yoga events. Still there. Still labeled Flow State Vinyas. I clicked on the last few weeks. Each one marked busy. No notes. No changes. Just placeholders. I opened a new tab. Looked up Flow State Studio's schedule. Aaron's class had run every Tuesday at 6:30 sharp. Full roster. Waitlisted, even. I felt like a stranger in my own house. Like the air was thicker. She came out of the shower in one of my old t-shirts. Smiling. Happy. I kissed her goodnight. Held her just a little too tightly. Memorized the weight of her against me, like I might not get to hold it much longer. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. I just lay there listening to the quiet hum of the ceiling fan and the louder hum of suspicion. There's a moment in every relationship, one you don't see coming, where everything shifts. Not with a scream, not with a break, just a breath, a message, a line from someone who doesn't know they've just set off an earthquake. Erin's text was that moment for me. And deep down, I knew. The next days were going to unravel everything I thought I understood about love, honesty, and Melissa. But I wasn't ready yet. Not to ask, not to accuse, just to watch. And wait. The thing about silence is, it has a shape. A weight. It doesn't just sit in the room with you. It presses in, folds itself into the spaces between words, between breaths. That's what it felt like living with Melissa after that Tuesday. Like silence was always there, just waiting to be noticed. I didn't confront her right away. Not because I was afraid of her answer, although maybe I was, but because I needed to be sure. Needed something solid. Not suspicion. Not vibes. Proof. So I started keeping track. That Thursday, she said the same thing. Yoga. 6:30, maybe smoothies after. I told her she looked amazing, kissed her cheek, watched her walk out the door in her Lululemon and sleek ponytail. 10 minutes later, I sent a message to Erin. Hey, just checking again. Did Melissa make it tonight? His reply came fast. Nope. Sorry. Haven't seen her all week. Want me to say something next time she's scheduled? I thanked him. Told him no, please don't say anything. I wasn't angry at him. He didn't know he was a thread in the fabric unraveling around me. Instead of pacing around the house like some jealous idiot, I left. I got in my car and followed. I didn't have a plan. I just drove in the direction I'd seen her turn. Maybe she'd parked somewhere else. Maybe she was picking up a friend. Maybe anything. But after 15 minutes, I saw her car. Not near the studio. Not near anything yoga-related at all. It was in the lot of a nondescript apartment complex. Gray brick, bland and forgettable, like the kind of place you rent when you don't want to be found. I pulled into a side street across the road and killed the engine. She didn't see me. She was too busy laughing with someone. He was tall, athletic, tanned in that way that says, I don't work a desk job. He was holding a takeout bag, like they were heading inside to eat. She touched his arm as they walked toward the entrance, easy and familiar. She didn't even glance behind her. I sat there a long time. My chest felt tight, not angry, not yet, but like the realization was finally landing in full. She wasn't just lying. She was living something else, entirely. Somewhere I didn't exist. I didn't follow. Didn't storm in or cause a scene. That's not who I am. I drove home. Quiet. Steady. Like I was afraid even my tires might betray me. When she walked in around 9:40 p.m., she looked flushed. Not sweaty, just bright. Happy. She dropped her mat by the door like usual and came to kiss me on the forehead. Class was brutal tonight, she said. Erin added some new poses. I thought my hamstrings were going to snap. I swallowed the laugh that almost escaped. I think it would have come out wrong, sharp, bitter, broken. Instead, I asked if she wanted tea. She said yes. Shy like always. And we sat on the couch like nothing was wrong. The next day, I went to my office, closed the door, and stared at my computer screen for a full hour. Not working, just sitting with it. I'd been here before in a way. Years ago, a different woman, a different betrayal. That one was fast and cruel. A door slammed in the middle of a fight, and a phone left buzzing with someone else's name. This time was different. This time, it wasn't fire, it was frost. Melissa was still here, still smiling, still making French toast on Sundays and asking about my mom's knee surgery. But she wasn't with me. Not really. So I did the only thing I knew how to do. I made a plan. I started backing up messages, checking timestamps. I installed a simple home network monitor, just enough to keep logs of activity. I didn't hack anything. I didn't go through her journal or break into accounts. I just observed, like a scientist watching an animal that doesn't know it's in a cage. And the data started lining up. Every Tuesday and Thursday night, a gap. Phone silent. Messages unread. Same pattern. Then came Sunday. We were at brunch with her friend Claire, one of the few people she still genuinely liked, I think. Claire was talking about some new bar class she'd tried, and Melissa jumped in with a laugh. Oh God, I'd die in a bar class, she said. Even yoga's kicking my ass lately. Tuesday, I literally collapsed in Aaron's studio. Claire blinked. Aaron? I thought he moved to Boston last month. Melissa froze for a beat, just a second, but it was enough. Oh, she said, recovering too quickly. No, that was the other Aaron. The younger one. New hire. He's British, I think. Claire didn't push, just nodded. But I caught her glance at me, quick and searching. I held her gaze. Said nothing. That night, when we were alone again, Melissa curled into me like she always did. But it didn't feel the same. It felt like someone playing a role they'd long outgrown. And all I could think about was the fact that, at some point, she'd decided to stop choosing me, and just hadn't told me yet. Maybe she thought I wouldn't notice. Or maybe she hoped I'd figure it out on my own, and end it for her. Cowardice comes in soft voices and gentle smiles, too. It wears familiarity like armor. I lay there in the dark, listening to her breathe. And I wondered who she was dreaming about. Tuesday came again. She left at 6:08 p.m. Yoga mat slung over her shoulder, a light bounce in her step. I watched from the kitchen window as she backed out of the driveway, then turned left, the same direction as always. I waited 10 minutes, then followed. This time, I didn't stop a few blocks away. I drove the whole route, past the studio she claimed to go to, past the parking lot where I'd once seen her laugh with him, and straight to the apartment complex again. She was already inside by the time I arrived. I parked across the street, hands gripping the wheel tight enough that my knuckles turned white. I stared at the building, that bland gray structure where everything I didn't know about Melissa seemed to live. Part of me wanted to just sit there again, to feel sorry for myself. But something had changed. Watching her lie, over and over, watching her slide so easily back into the life we shared like it cost her nothing. It finally broke something in me. I got out of the car. I didn't rush or storm. I walked across the street like I belonged there. Found the call box. Scrolled through the names until I saw one I didn't recognize but suspected. A. Dalton, 2B. I pressed the button. A buzz. A pause. Then the door clicked open. I climbed the stairs slowly. My heart wasn't racing. I wasn't trembling. I felt still, like I was watching myself from somewhere else. I knocked. Footsteps approached. Then the door opened. He answered. T-shirt. Sweatpants. Barefoot. Behind him, Melissa stood frozen mid-laugh, holding a glass of wine. Her mouth didn't move. Her eyes widened, and for a second, I saw it. Fear. She stepped forward. Babe, what are you? Yoga ran long? I asked evenly. Her face flickered, like a glitch in a perfect simulation. I can explain, she whispered. I'd actually prefer you didn't, I said. I think I finally understand enough. The guy, Dalton, I assumed, stood awkwardly, looking between us. Maybe I should. No, I said, without looking at him. You're exactly where you belong. Melissa's lips parted again, but I raised a hand. I just needed to see it, I said, to know I wasn't losing my mind. She stepped closer. Please. I didn't mean for it to go this far. It just happened. I smiled, but there was no joy in it. Did it? You faked 6 months of yoga, Melissa. That's not an accident. That's architecture. Her eyes welled up, but the tears didn't fall. I turned to leave, paused at the door. I loved you, I said quietly. Not the version you perform, but the one I thought I saw when we were alone. I was building something real with you. Then I looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time in weeks. She wasn't glowing. She looked tired, small, like someone who'd been carrying 2 lives and dropped both. You could have just told me you were done, I added. You didn't have to bury me under it. I walked out, didn't look back. The ride home was quiet. No music, no thoughts, just the realization that when trust dies, it doesn't scream. It exhales. By the time I got home, her drawer was still there. Her toothbrush, her robe on the hook in the bathroom. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at them, feeling the ghost of a life I thought we had. I didn't pack her things. I didn't throw anything away. I just turned off the lights and slept on the couch. The next morning, she came home. I heard her walk in, stand in the hallway. She didn't say a word. Neither did I. She packed silently. No drama. No performance. Just quiet acceptance. Before she left, she stood at the door and looked back. I'm sorry, she said. I nodded once. So am I. And that was it. Melissa left with her yoga mat under her arm. And I was alone again, but not broken. Not this time. Because even though I lost her, I didn't lose myself. And that, I've learned, is what matters most.